in this episode of The Streets.
Father God, they have big decisions to make going forward, dear God, for this country, dear God. And so I pray, Lord, that whatever they have to do, you will be glorified because you are worthy of it all, dear God.
It's Sunday morning at Golden Square in Bridgetown. Various stakeholders join in a prayer breakfast organized by the National Peace Program. The driving forces behind the program see an obligation to tackle the issue of crime intervention in a multiplicity of ways: social, cultural, financial, and yes, spiritual.
Father God, strengthen us in the mighty name of Jesus, dear God. We ask that you will send your holy angels, dear God, to guard each and every single one of these individuals. May they come to know you in a deeper way, Father God.
A criminologist's report on crime in Barbados notes that violent crime disproportionately affects young males, particularly those from the lower socioeconomic backgrounds. The report states that while crime rates vary across different regions of Barbados, urban areas experience higher levels of crime, and neighborhoods with lower socioeconomic status and higher population density tend to have elevated crime rates. Government's peace program has especially targeted such areas and individuals.
My name is Kevin Watson. My sobriquet is Sluggy Dan, and I am the field coordinator for the National Peace Program.
How's it going out there?
Out there is going good on my end. From my side, from being on the street, working in the communities, working in the at-risk community, especially working with my change agents in the catchment areas. From our side is going good. Obviously, there are things beyond our control that we have no say in, we have no power in, that we can't do anything about. So we try as best we can to do what we can with the limited power and resources that we have.
What do you find out here in the community? What's driving this?
With the what's driving the violence? The violence comes from neglect, believe it or not. The violence comes from neglect because I'm sure I came and one of my other things I do is radio, and when they first came to Starcom, you were already there. So I'm sure you would have heard these conversations 10 years ago. It wasn't as bad as it is now, but we had the same exact conversations about the community, how the community going, how the church losing the community, how there's not much community activities anymore. All this I heard on Starcom. So when they come in here, these things, and then what happened for the 10 years now, nothing was done at all. So it's still ain't getting the community engagement, still ain't empower young person in the community. So when that neglect happens, we just look at that person because that's an 8-year-old. So, can't do the boy. Now he's only 8, he's only 9. But look, no, that 8-year-old is no 18. That 9-year-old is no 19. So it just comes from neglect. Me, a bad boy, majority of the time, you grow into a bad man. It is that simple. It's that simple.
A lot of people wonder why are so many youngsters, 16, 17, 18,
Right.
turn to crime and commit murders?
And why they can, you know what I mean? Why a child that was 4 years ago, he the only 12 on the week here. How in such a short space of time we lose grip of him. We got an educational system, we're supposed to be monitoring these things. So the 8 and 9-year-olds, the 12-year-olds, we supposed to be monitoring them. We supposed to have projects and programs for them. When he gets 16, he can go to that program yet. I got young people in programs that I'm in that know 18, 19. With them catch themselves, them is 19, them ain't even realize. Because the program is the process, you can't do it with a 6 or 12 program. We gotta take an 8-year-old and hone them for the next 10 years so we can bring them into a mind. Youth should not have crime to turn to so easily. Stetson is extremely easy now for a 16-year-old to get engagement if you want to get a life of crime. If you want a pong of weed, and you want a gun, and you want a safe space, and you want love and care and attention,
Easy.
because you have the resources that are there. You really think, right? Like, come on, we are both smart men. You really think that these little men on the road have the economic might to manipulate an ANC port to bring in something so powerful as a gun? You know how powerful you have to be to get guns in Barbados. If we all come across the sea and drugs, it's extremely hard for. I refuse to believe that these little men on the road have the economic might to manipulate our ear and support. I would not believe it. I would not believe it. You know what I mean? So someone or some persons is making it extremely easy for them. Why isn't it easy to get a community program or project, but easy to get a gun and weed? Why we could combat that, man, and we are doing it, and that's why I will kill the peace program forever, because the peace program approach is going to the communities themselves, working with the persons, the communities that have the power and influence, and getting them committed to the cause, so that then could turn around and influence their young persons to be on board. What we're doing, the only thing is, if you're dealing with government, obviously signing the time lapse. That's expecting government. I can't just go and holler Stetson, give me $60,000. I can't just go and do that, man. I got this program, trust me, you can't do that. You know, you gotta wait for it, you gotta go through a process, you gotta go through a committee. You know the bureaucracy that comes with government for good reasons to protect.
But is it having real impact though?
Yeah, but not as extended as we would like. You understand it? It will have an impact for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, but not as we would like for obvious reasons. And it's government. That is why I also call out the communities and the church, and I also challenge persons like myself. We have to also play a part. You understand? Because government alone can't do it, and that's very realized. And you could go a case where the government doing tons of extremely good work, but they got a few powerful forces out there that pulling for evil, and that impact be much greater. That could always happen, and with government, you always got a lapse unless we find a way to have something sustainable and continuous, where it's going to be 12 weeks or 6 months, and then sending something, and then 6 months again. Because that lapse, it can be easy. If you're on the street, Stetson, and they come to you for a gun and some weed, and that we ain't Stetson, they got to give you a report. I got to give you a proposal. I got to go before a board. No, you don't have to. You just get a gun and weed. So we got to find ways to combat that evil and make it as accessible and easy to do good. Because it's incredibly hard to do good.
I think 5 minutes I hear pat, 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 and when they look out through the barrel window, I saw two men running going down the road. When they get down by Carnival House, you know, they still shooting. I don't know who them is or why they shoot. You got a lot of children about here already running up and down in the gap. You never know what can happen with the little children running about. You got to be careful.
Research suggests that poverty and its connection with various socio-political and cultural factors create an enabling environment for crime. That's been a lived experience for many of the change agents, such as Damian Jones.
Well, I've been in an incident where I nearly lost my life, and I've seen a lot of persons going down the wrong road along that path as well. So what I did with myself, I started to transform myself in a way that I could help others not to go down that path, because there's no success, nothing healthy, nothing great about that path. So within the opportunities that are placed in front of me, and I also offer to the program, it allows me to help persons come away from that path. Obviously, we try to save everyone, which isn't possible, but we try to save as much as we can.
Tell us about that path when you were on the other side.
Yeah, well, it was a gun violence issue. It led to me being injured.
You were shot.
Yeah, and it was not nothing that, as I said, that I would like for anybody else. So we try to come together in the community and engage in certain activities that would not entail persons have to take the firearms and stuff up to settle differences.
That's what the experience. What lessons you learned from your life? How you live your life? What happened?
Wasting time is not the way to go. If there's things that you can do with your time that can elevate you in a higher and a better position, my advice is to go with it to your full 100. It changed my life in the sense that things that I used to do, like lime and smoke and engage in different activities, it pulled me away from that, because obviously it was an eye-opener for me. So that is what came to make me change completely.
How do you use that life experience, those lessons, to help others?
Well, what I do, I take them to programs that will help entail of learning to do CVs, learning to build a character, look at themselves as a different individual in terms of part of society. So it works so far so good.
What's the most interesting experience you've had so far in this job?
The adventure clubs, whereas we were able to take children to places they've never been before, and it showed them that there is a life beyond the life that they're seeing at home, our industries, or the community that they come from. In terms, we get to travel with them, get to turn them on hikes, we take them to the farms, the different events across the country, and they really changed because some of our events has paused somewhat, and our participants are requesting heavily. Even some that were part of these programs found themselves in some trouble due to the fact we weren't able to keep up with the activities and stuff going on. So I think that it made a major impact on persons.
You're a relatively young man, and people are wondering why are so many young men involved in violent crime?
Well, I can't say because a lot of persons come from different backgrounds. They're faced with whole different challenges in life. Um, what I can say is that there are opportunities out there for them, and if they would pay attention to the opportunities, then I guess they will be able to pull away from that. Also, too, financing is a problem because sometimes if a person doesn't have the amount of funds to fund their family, then they would try to put themselves in harm's way. But what the program does, or what my team try to do, is like different entities that have job offers, skills training offers. We come together and we try to place persons in those entities to get their life changed around so that they won't turn to violence as well.
It's been effective?
Yes, it has. It has been effective. Yes, because there were some that were headed down that road, and due to the fact that we were be able to place them in certain entities that would help them to elevate themselves, we have seen a major change. Yes.
Do you have a specific example of a person who you saw heading a particular path, you were able to get them?
Yes, because he lost his brother through the same gun violence, and he was in the rage of revenge, 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 revenge. So we took him to Imran's program, Flip the Script, which was a major success for him. Then afterwards, he was placed in a job, so he's doing pretty good now. I saw him till 2 days ago, and he's doing pretty good now. So I would say that the program does have a major effect on the youth. It just needs to be consistent in terms of keeping up with the youth because it's a fast changing process with the youth, and you can't give them one thing constantly, 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 constantly. You have to switch it up with them because there are a lot of creative minds out there, and they're interested in all types of industries, be it carpentry, be it the social media industry, all sort of industries. So it's good to keep it going so that they could be a part of it as well.
24-year-old change agent Danica Watson is able to identify with and explain the challenges and vulnerabilities of the at-risk youth. How do you get to this path to the change agent program, this program?
Well, really and truly, my Sluggy Dan Watson, Kevin Watson, my mentor, I used to try to follow his way of life. And his way of life is try to save generations on him because as you can see, most of the youth got this exposure. In your time, you're probably 24 years old too, but in your time, you didn't have the access to technology as the young people do. So the young people is more exposed to technology, whereas they are more exposed to different teachings and different ways of life. And I try to encourage the youth to gravitate towards their family, try to rebuild their family. And sometimes I don't always like push them into a job or push them into a school because if you're pushed into a job, you're working for money, but you could be still going home to a broken home, a dysfunctional home. So what I try to do is get it right with yourself first. Before you take a step, before you take a change with your life, get your thinking right, get your emotions right, get your spirituality right. Get it right with yourself first. So when you take that step, it could be a different step.
What do you find are some of the more fundamental issues that young people are encountering, leading them down this path? That's leading them down this path.
Most of the issues that I see the young people gravitating towards is many youth are not academically inclined. Many youth are not skillful. So everything is an institution. for me, everything is an institution. There's a church an institution, there's an educational institution, and even the block culture has an institution. Whereas no teaching is going on, there's an institution. And if they go to school and school is not the place for them, they have to find a different institution. So when they left school, they only go to some farm, some place where they can be accepted. And most of the time, if they're not accepted at home, they look for that acceptance outside of the home. And block culture is more accept the youth for how they is, you know, for how they is. So if they got anger management problems, we accept that. You know, if you're neglected, we can comfort you. But at what cost?
Too many young people are being raised by the streets.
Raised with the streets, and it comes from your home because the neglect from your home force them to seek acceptance wherever. That's why you will see more young people gravitate towards social media because they want to be somebody, you know? They want to be somebody. Instead of researching it internally, they research it online. And more so, you cannot be who somebody else is. I cannot be you, you cannot be me. You got to find it in you, and I got to find it in me. You got to research it for you and you, and I got to research it for me and me. And most of the young people are researching behaviors, researching different ways of thinking. And it's not working. It's not working. Because it carried down a very bumpy road.
How do we turn that around from young person like yours?
As I say, we gotta look at ourselves and we gotta acknowledge if there's something wrong with us. We gotta acknowledge if there's something bothering us, if a father passed away. We gotta acknowledge if domestic violence, we say we mother and we father fighting everything, if it's bothering us, and we have to address the issue. And we gotta see how we can help, rather than how it can affect us.
How effective is the change program? Help them to helping youngsters cope and confront some of these issues.
The National Peace Program is trying to introduce a lot of programs that are more experiential. It's not really learning with the book or theory. It's learning how to interact with one another. You know, how to see someone's opinion. Don't mind you disagree on the opinion, but come to some sort of settlement. Because that is how conflict is started. I disagree with you, you disagree with me, and you want to give over your point, and I want to give my point. Your point might be right for you, my point might be right for me. You know? We can look at 6 and 9. You might see the 9, I might see the 6. It doesn't mean I'm wrong, and it doesn't mean you're wrong. But we gotta agree that we both could be right, or we both could be wrong. Minister Corleone also emphasized to us that our job is very imperative, field work. You know, if you're trying to get crime rate down, it's not an office job. You know, it's a field job. So we gotta go in the field, we gotta analyze these youth because no two people are alike. No two people are alike. The methods I might use to get this person right, I gotta use different methods to get that person right.
How are you going about that?
I try to understand them. Like right now, my hair, I growing up my hair, so a youngster can cut my hair. You know, there's about 2 weeks on my hair, so but I give him more time to practice because, you know, I want him to mess up my head. You know, so they want us to be more frank. As you can see, more change agents we don't step in the communities with suit and tie because there's a fear. There's a fear of classism, there's a fear of, well, he thinks he's above me, but they don't want us to be above them. They want us to be with them. It's the difference. That's why you will see enough of us. You see them, he came here casual. This is how we just dress because we are you and you are us. The more we try to become them, and they try to become us, the more we understand them, and they will understand us.
And even for those who slip through the prevention net, there's an effort to rehabilitate, refocus, to provide a second chance to turn their life around. Tyrod Giles is Special Projects Consultant with the National Peace Program.
I work alongside the National Peace Program with inmates and at-risk youth generally. We strongly believe in second chances. We strongly believe that not just because, but even though you've committed a crime, you still have to be able to be rehabilitated and be reintegrated back into the society.
We're hearing a lot about the importance of rehabilitation, or rather the lack of adequate rehabilitation. extent to which that contributes to repeat offenders. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it's quite possible. I mean, if you are going to send someone to prison and you're not going to give them that attention and help them to heal from trauma, heal from the possible drug addiction or whatever deep-rooted issues caused them to end up there in the first place. I mean, you don't just wake up one morning and commit a crime, but if you don't address the fundamentals, yeah. So if you don't address the fundamentals, then you have a product that serves time, but you don't have a healed product back into society.
What are some of the key underlying issues you're seeing?
Some of the key underlying issues we're seeing, the usual buzzwords and buzz terms that we hear in society, whether it be from lack of good parents or good role models, whether it be a lack of education or whether it be the drug and substance abuse and addiction. So apart from that, I think generally these persons are offenders are willing to do better, so long as we put the time into it.
Providing offenders with skills and potential opportunities forms a key part of their program.
Currently, we have a few programs in collaboration with the Barbados Prison Service. One of them being the culinary arts program, where it's being administered by the Pomeranian Institute, Gene and Norman Holder Institute, I think it's called now, and there they have about 30 to 45 inmates who are participating in a cooking course, so that when this course is complete, they are given their certificate. And maybe you find 30 to 45 businesses in society who are looking for cooks or bartenders or whatever in area they're particularly interested in, who are willing to forgive and hire these people. But essentially, we are producing, I think the prison service is also interested in producing healed products and qualified products back into society.
How do you describe the impact of your program?
Thus far, I mean, the reports have been at least half of the persons who pursued the course last year, when it was run by Ministry of Youth at the St. Paul Marine, they're working in hospitality as we speak. Rather it be self-employed, or rather it be employed. I won't name any businesses, but whether self-employed or employed, these persons have been productive citizens in that respect. So we see that the money isn't being wasted, but they're actually utilizing the talents learned.
Our journey through the streets has taken us on an exploration of gun violence. Show me where you were shot.
Hold up, so you maintain and come over.
Some of them spoke about something called a gun circle, where you can actually rent a gun, hire a gun.
The shift in culture and values.
Prevailing culture of lawlessness and violence.
The preventative work.
I call here one of the epicenters of my work.
And the possible solutions.
My philosophy is that it has to be holistic, and attacking one without the other just will not work.
No easy solutions, no quick fix, but the situation requires a response to the myriad socio-economic, socio-cultural challenges that confront the youth out there in the streets.
And somewhere down the road later, you recognize, well, look, I remember him from that school. He used to be always in little trouble.